Today we're looking at Magic the Gathering cards that are not technically indestructible, but they kinda are. They're like really sticky. They're like really hard to get rid of. And I'll start off with Norin the Wary. A red 2/1 human warrior. Whenever a player plays a spell, just a spell, it doesn't matter if it's a removal spell, a sweeper, whatever it is, or if a creature attacks, remove Norin the Wary from the game. Return it to play under its owner's control at end of turn. And of course, we see that the flavor text is, I have a bad feeling about this. Oh yes, of course. There are people who, like Victor the Brave and Marcus the Indomitable. And then we have Norin, you're named Norin the Wary. Oh yeah, well what's your superpower? I'm cautious. I measure twice, cut once. That's the way of Norin the Wary. All right, next card that I have up. So anyway, anything that's like really sticky, and it can be even as loose as this. God Eternal Kefnet, blue 2 generic for a 4/5 flying zombie god. The zombies got to him? Why do you let a zombie bite you and turn you into a zombie? You may reveal the first card you draw each turn as you draw it. Whenever you reveal an instant or sorcery card this way, copy that card, and you may cast the copy. The copy costs 2 less to cast. And when God Eternal Kefnet dies, or is put into exile from the battlefield, you can put it into its owner's library, 3rd from the top. So whether you exile the god or you kill the god is going to be back, because it's back in the library, 3rd from the top, and it will be back onto the battlefield. Bios with the Scarab God. Do all the gods work like this? Where's the Scarab God person? There was someone who tried to pump up. They said they owned like 200 Scarab Gods, and they always try to pump up the stock of the Scarab God in this chat. Okay, we got a black blue 3 generic 5/5 legendary god. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life, and you scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control. Blue black 2 generic, exile target creature card from a graveyard, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. And it's gonna be really hard to get rid of the Scarab God, because when it dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Yeah, you can't get rid of this damn thing. Just keeps coming back the very next day, like the cat. The cat came back. Is anyone familiar with the cat came back? Or is that only a Canadian thing? I think Fred Penner's still alive. Fire with the super chat. Recurring nightmare. Oh yeah, that's true. Nothing says recurring like recurring nightmare. Oh, we're doing great. All right, we got a black 2 generic. Is this thing banned? It's banned in Commander. Wow, sucks for you Commander players. Is it really that broken? The bar to getting things banned in Commander is really ambiguous. Alright, black 2 generic enchantment. Sack a creature. Return recurring nightmare to its owner's hand. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. You know what? It comes back over and over again, but it's actually hard to protect. It's not the easiest thing to protect. Like, let's say, because you can only activate the ability at sorcery speed. So if I choose to blow it up with disenchant, I mean, it's just gone. Or does it come back from the graveyard? Return target creature card. Returns the creatures back from the graveyard. So this one's like, oops, what am I doing? This one's like really so-so on the list, in my opinion. Okay, Icarid. Oh yeah, that thing like keeps going to the straight to the dumpster. Goes to the dumpster, comes back, then goes straight to the dumpster again. Black 3 generic 3/1 horror with haste. At the beginning of your end step, you gotta sack the Icarid. That's right, bye-bye Icarid. But at the beginning of your upkeep, if Icarid is in your graveyard, you can exile a black creature card other than Icarid from your graveyard. If you do, return Icarid to the battlefield. Don't mind forget about blocking this thing. Don't attack into it. Well, I mean, I think it's impossible to attack into it. Don't use removal spells. Don't waste it. It's gonna be back. Nothing says I'll be back like the Icarid. Although it keeps going to the graveyard. Old Ramen, thank you very much for the super chat. Progenitus. True story. Progenitus. Technically not indestructible, but will protect itself from all your removal spells, most of your sorcery spells. Wrath of God's still gonna hit this thing, but nothing else. Protection from everything, and if it would be put into the graveyard from anywhere, reveal it, put it right back into that library to be found and redeployed right back onto the battlefield. A 10-10. This used to be a Grand Prix promo. Where's the Grand Prix promo? That was the biggest letdown at the time. The Grand Prix promos back then were super hit or miss. You might get a Stoneforge Mystic, or you might get a Progenitus or something. Like, how many people need Progenitus? How many people need to own this stupid card? Anyway, do people still play Icrid and Dredge? They do in Legacy. Yeah, I do see it. Progenitus is ridiculously hard to get rid of as a mill player. There's that mill tech! Alright. Let's put Progenitus back in our sideboards, boys and girls, just to peeve off the mill players. All right, we got Christopher B with Mikios. I don't know how to pronounce this. The Unhallowed. There's two Mikioses. Okay, the Unhallowed. Oh, Hallowed. Unhallowed. So he's not holy anymore. Okay, we got black, 3 generic for a 5/5 zombie cleric with Intimidate. Whenever a human deals damage to you, destroy it. Boom. Other non-human creatures you control get +1/+1 and have Undying. But he doesn't have Undying. Whenever other non-humans... But he doesn't have Undying himself. This is disqualified. Card itself needs to have... like the Indestructible. It does give other things basically Indestructible. It's close. I see what you're doing. MG cards that aren't in... Oh, yeah, maybe we let it live. I don't know. I feel awkward about this one. It makes the other cards difficult to get rid of, but it doesn't make it... This guy is vulnerable. This guy going down with the ship. All right? The ship go down. Mickey House is going to go down with it. Yo, little Ted. Thank you so much for the super chat. Ebon Death. What is this guy? Black, 2 generic for a 5/2 zombie dragon. These all be zombies. Flash flying, Ebon Death, Draco Lich enters the battlefield tapped. And you can cast Ebon Death, Draco Lich from your graveyard if a creature not named Ebon Death, Draco Lich died this turn. Okay, so if it dies, you have to wait a turn and you can recast it over and over again. But you can't do it on the same turn that he dies. If he dies, he dies. He needs a bit of a rest. Give him a little bit of a break. Give him a Kit Kat bar. And then he'll be back. Oh, Boro! I know what this card is. Palace in the Clouds. Okay, true story. Oh, you want to wasteland this thing? You want to stone rain me? You want to pillage? What do we got? What else do we have? Ghost Quarter, Field of Ruin. No. I got pay 1. Return Oboro Palace in the Clouds back to my hand. You can't touch this. Can't touch this. Oboro. All right, what do we got next? We got let's get a super chat. We got super chats from Dizzy Blizzy. We got the Nezahul Primal Tide. Oh, my day has just started. It's going great. Nezahul Primal Tide, blue 5 generic for a 7/7 Elder Dinosaur. Spell can't be countered. You have no maximum hand size. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, draw a card. Holy crap. Discard 3 cards. Exile Nezahul Primal Tide. Returns to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. This card is insane. Your opponent just has to play spells and you get all the goodies. This is like, I don't know, the most punishing looking Rhystic study of all time. And it does protect itself not only from the removal spells, but also from the sweepers, because it only comes back during the end step. All right, you go sweep the board? Well, or you try to Cyclonic Rift me? No, this is going to stay on the battlefield. It cost the 3 cards, but you paid for it. Paid for it with your money. Steve Cooper. Thank you very much for the Phyrexian Vindicator. We got a white 5/5 Phyrexian Horror. With flying, mind you. This guy is a pretty big, beefy creature. If damage would be dealt to Phyrexian Vindicator, prevent that damage. When damage is prevented this way, Phyrexian Vindicator deals that much damage to any other target. Where are these cards coming from? And why doesn't this see play anywhere? You can't damage it. And it just redirects the damage somewhere else. It's like, It's not quite it's like another, it's like in the same line of the Phyrexian Obliterators. Like it punishes you for trying to deal with it. No, that's a pretty sweet card. Bokel, we got with Bloodghast. An oldie but a goldie. Very simple card. Black, 2/1 Vampire Spirit. I bet most people, if you take a random person off the street and you ask them what is Bloodghast's creature type, they wouldn't be able to name it. They might not even know what a Bloodghast is if you really took a random person off the street. I thought it was a zombie for the longest time. Can block, has haste as long as the opponent has 10 or less life, but has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may return the Bloodghast from your graveyard back to the battlefield. And it work. Hogak! Oh, God. Ban alert! Ban alert! Ban alert! Alright, we got Golgari, 5 generic, 8/8 avatar. You can't spend mana to cast this spell, but that's not a downside. That's a good side. It's got Convoke and Delve, so tap creatures, exile cards from your graveyard to bring it back. And you can cast Hogak from your graveyard, and it's got Trample. As if anything can kill it in the first place. You know, the number of cards that can kill a Hogak is just so small. You can't use Doomblade on this thing. You can't bolt it. You can't even Unholy Heat this thing. What are they thinking with an 8/8 creature? This is beyond stupid. Anyway, yeah, it comes back from the graveyard over and over again. Not a problem. Hogak will be back, that's for sure. Alright, we got Ka. Cow the God. Koma. Cosmos. Serpent. She's my favorite commander. Blue, green, 3 generic for a 6/6 serpent. That also can't be countered. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a 3/3 blue serpent creature token named Koma's Coil. Sack another serpent. Choose one. Tap target creature. Its activated abilities can't be activated this turn. Or Koma Cosmos Serpent gains Indestructible until end of turn. This is literally an indestructible creature. I don't know. Do I count this? It gives itself it doesn't have Indestructible, but it gives itself Indestructible. Oh, okay, well, it gives itself Indestructible. It's on the line. It's on the line, people. Dr. Django, absolutely. Slippery Bogle counts. Just ask the Is It players how much they love staring down at a Slippery Bogle. It's a simple blue or green creature for 1 mana. It's a 1/1 with hexproof. But there's so many decks that just cannot deal with this. They're just like, they just stare at is that how I'm going down today? Oh, God. Do I have to play against this deck? That can't beat anything but me. And then this is the type of, the Bogles player will hear it after the match. They'll be like, you can't beat any deck in the tournament except my deck. Congratulations. But that's what the Bogle players are for. They're there for the salt. Salt their way to victory. Peter with Etherling. Well, that's a name I haven't heard in a very long time. Blue, 4 generic, 4/5 shapeshifter. And the first ability right there, blue, exile Etherling, return to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Again, you know, the control players even used to play this versus me. They slammed an Etherling, exiled it, and sweep the board. That was incredibly annoying. I hated that. It's unblockable, so you don't even need flying. It's super morphling. And of course, it can pump itself up and bring itself back down. Jacob with Tenacious Deed. Oh, sorry, Tenacious Dead. We be dead around here. We got a black 1/1 Skeleton Warrior. When it dies, you can pay a black 1 generic. If you do, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. It's a very simple card. You playing this card? Oh, I guess you got it. I mean, this is a skeleton card. Okay, I thought it was another zombie. It has a very zombie-like feel to it. So you need them skeleton playables, that's for sure. Megagar, Lae'zel. Is immune to targeted removal without being indestructible or having hexproof. The Warrior. What is this, a fake card? It's an alchemy card. Alright, we got a white 3 generic 2/4 with double strike and specialize for 1. When you cast a spell, it gains... when this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may exile this creature, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. Oh, that's great! So you just basically don't waste any removal spells on this thing. It's going to remove your removal spells. Make them completely useless. Alright, we got our next super chat. Rot Boy. Taking it real simple. Gravecrawler. Black 2/1 zombie. Can't block. But it doesn't want to anyway. You can cast it from your graveyard so long as you control a zombie. So you got a zombie, you got infinite Gravecrawlers. I remember. I made a few zombie decks. I love making zombie decks with the Gravecrawler. Great combo with Carrion Feeder as well. Josh! Thanks so much for the super chat, Josh. King of the Oathbreakers. Look at this guy. Black, white, 2 generic, 3/3. Spirit Noble with flying. Whenever King of the Oathbreakers or another spirit you control becomes the target of a speller's ability, it phases out. Not remove it from the game. Just phase out. Just flip it over. Treat it and anything attached to it as though it didn't exist until your next turn. I guess this is a benefit to anyone who's playing Auras. Or Curious Obsession, for that matter. Whenever King of the Oathbreakers or another spirit you control phases in, create a tapped 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. That thing's great! This is a great spirit. Spirit fam out there. The Spirit Squad. You're going to look at the King of the Oathbreakers. Keep your creature and you get more creatures. This is like a crappy version of that Markov card where you just get a bunch of spirits. That Markov card is just way too much for me. I'm gonna put that on it. We're gonna put the Markov card in this. Edgar Markov. It doesn't say he's indestructible. He might as well be because he's in the effing command zone. I can't target this thing. How do you target something in the command zone that actually has an effect on the battlefield? And it's an insane effect. Absolutely insane effect. You're never gonna hear at the end of me. I can't believe the things that this card does. Just raging at this card. All right, what do we got next? Squee. Well, which one? There's a lot of squees. Ryan, you should have been more specific. Okay, I'm gonna choose one. We got Squee. How about this one? Does that Squee come back? It does. What would be a Squee that doesn't come back? Okay, we got red 2 generic 2/2 Goblin Noble haste. Whenever Squee Dubious Monarch attacks, create a 1/1 red Goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking. It's gonna be one of them skeletons over here. You may cast Squee Dubious Monarch from your graveyard by paying a red and 3 generic and exiling 4 other cards from your graveyard rather than paying its mana cost. Oh my god, it's it's almost acting like a regular card. It's almost acting like it sounds like feels like Hogak. It feels like, yeah, it's a Hogak. You get to cast it from your graveyard. You gotta delve some cards effectively, you know, basically. All right, next with the super chats, we got Abe. Thank you so much for the super chat. Pearl Lake Ancient. A classic control finisher in Standard that everyone made fun of, but turns out you just couldn't ever kill it. Blue 5 generic for a 6/7 Leviathan. Flash. Pearl Lake Ancient can't be countered. It's got prowess. Why didn't it need prowess? Of all the things that it needs. Return 3 lands you control to their owner's hands. Return Pearl Lake Ancient to its owner's hand. If you played that card honestly, you have the 3 lands. You'll never touch the Pearl Lake Ancient, which is a bit weird. It's a really big creature. It's like really hard to miss. Richie Dubs. Haven't heard from you in a long time. Welcome back. Rekindling Phoenix. Rekindling Phoenix. Oops. Ah, yes, the red 2 generic 4/3 Phoenix flying. When it dies, it becomes an egg again, right? It's a 0. Oh no, it becomes an elemental. It's a little flame, little fire. It's gonna burst into flames again. A 0/1 red elemental creature token with, at the beginning of your upkeep, sack this creature and return target card named Rekindling Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste until end of turn. It'd make more sense to me if it went to exile and you bring it back from exile over and over again. Or maybe that's abusable, I don't know. Maybe that's a problem. Maybe that would make it broken. It was my first card, Argentina. Yeah, we did Norn the Wary. Ragavan has dash. Okay, then shout out to Ragavan. No, Ragavan. Okay, shout out to Ragavan for its dash. Protection from sorcery spells. But not really that indestructible. Let's be serious. Ragavan can die in a million ways. Sir Jaroid, reassembling skeleton. Them skeletons, they be back. Skeleton fam! Rise up from the grave in your bones! What was the Killer Instinct character that was a skeleton? Let me look. Whenever I see something like this, Killer Instinct skeleton character, I always think of this guy. Spinal. There he is, Spinal. I was Glacius. Maybe it was foretelling things deep into the future. That was going to be like a mono blue merfolk player. Basically, like Glacius is an alien merfolk, effectively. All right, reassembling skeleton, black 1 generic 1/1 skeleton, pay a black 1 generic. Return reassembling skeleton from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. You can do it at instant speed too. That's pretty good. Not bad at all. All right, next up we got King Ginger's ancient. I swear you've named this card a million times. Okay, we got a green, because Imperiosaur. Sounds like a spell from Harry Potter. Okay, we got a green 5 generic 6/6 dinosaur with Convoke, Trample, and Ward 2. Ancient Imperiosaur enters the battlefield with 2+1/+1 counters on it for each creature that it convoked. It's BS. You can kill this a million ways. Just pay the Ward 2 as well. I wouldn't say it's that hard. Disqualified. Okay, Balder. Thank you very much for the super chat. Gravecrawler. We just did that one. You're slow. That's okay. I think a lot of people are going to be naming cards that have already been named. Black 2/1 creature. Where else can this be played? This is played sometimes in Dredge. This is played in the zombie decks. This is played in... I want to say it's going to be played in some sort of black sack outlet deck, but I'm not sure. Sky Neo, thank you very much for your super chat. Phyrexian Vindicator. If it wasn't... I think we did talk about the Phyrexian Vindicator. Are we that early in the... Are we that early in the show that we were running out of ideas? Yeah, I think this card's broken, by the way. Should see more play. I guess the problem is, like, if you're a white deck, you might not want to play this card. This is, like, a really good black card. I think black would love something like this. I think even red would love something like this. David Sampson. OG Nether Shadow. An OG. All right, we got a black 1/1 Spirit Haste at the beginning of your upkeep. If Nether Shadow is in your graveyard with 3 or more creature cards above it, you may put Nether Shadow into play. Boom! You see, you have to keep track of what's in the graveyard. I gotta be honest, I don't even know how that works. I don't know how. I really don't know what the order. Like, if I kill my own creature with an instant or sorcery, what's on top of my graveyard? Is it the instant or the sorcery? Let's say that multiple creature cards die at the same time. Do I get to order them, or is there like a specific order that goes into the graveyard, like based on alphabetical order? I don't know these things because there's like only 2 cards in the entire universe where that matters, and I don't play them, and I don't play against them. Mist Hollow Griffin. All right, King Ginger is making it up with Mist Hollow Griffin. Blue 2 generic 3/3 flying. You may cast Mist Hollow Griffin from exile. Just make sure it gets exiled. Protection from Path to Exile and other stuff. Jesse with Dark Navigator. Why is this a commander staple? It's 6 mana. That seems impossible to cast. Okay, it's got a 5/5 with Soulbound. As long as Deadeye Navigator is paired with another creature, each of those creatures has pay a blue 1 generic. Exile this creature, then returns to the battlefield under your control. You just blink. You blink them all day and all night. Wow, look at what's going on in the canoe here. Just making the spirit do all the work, as if he didn't work enough while he was alive. Unbelievable. Golgari Grave Troll. I think that just stays dead. No one actually plays that card. I mean, I know what you're... I see what you're talking about. Like, the Dredge cards will keep coming back. No one does that, though. Oh, ho, ho, ho! Oh, ho, ho. Uro, a Titan of Nature's Wrath. Man, nothing says indestructible like Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. This card still see play in Legacy, and it's so hard to deal with. It's a blue-green 1 generic 6/6. When entering the battlefield, you gotta sack it, unless you escaped it. Enters the battlefield or attacks, you gain 3 life and draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. I remember people were just asking my opinion so hard. It's like, is this going to break Modern? Is this going to break Modern? I'm like, it's a really good card, but I have no idea. Anyway, it broke Modern. Breaks Legacy, too. Blue, blue, and then you escape it for blue, blue, green, green. So as many times as it dies, it just keeps coming back. The cost wasn't even high. Exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. Were you kidding me? Control deck has that no problem. Pronto. Do that with change to spare. Not to mention the drawing of the cards helps you like facilitate filling up that graveyard again. Okay, whatever. Thank you very much. Hull Breacher. So Hull Breaker Horror. Hull Breaker Horror. There's another Hull Breaker Horror? I don't even want to know what the alchemy version is. Blue, blue, 5 generic for a 7/8 flash. The spell can't be countered. But when you cast the spell, you choose up to 1. Return target spell you don't control to its owner's hand, or return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. So you could bounce the Hull Breaker. So basically, your opponent tries to do something, a Hull Breaker Horror, you just play a spell, bounce it right back to their hand. Or you can even bounce the Hull Breaker Horror back to your hand. Well, let's get back to some super chats. We've got Josh. Thanks so much for your super chat. Sauron, the Dark Lord. It's Sauron. The new card. Red, black, blue, 3 generic for a 7/6 Avatar Horror. It's pretty big. Oh yeah, and the ward is a little insane. Sacrifice a legendary. You have to sack a legendary artifact or legendary creature. And if you don't have those things, this guy is effectively indestructible. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, amass Orcs 1. Whenever an army you control deals combat damage to a player, the ring tempts you. And whenever the ring tempts you, you may discard your hand if you do draw 4 cards. It's a little bit, you know, you can still kill this thing through sweepers and stuff, but it is a little sticky. It is a lot harder to hit it with like any removal spells. How many people are carrying just a random legendary artifact? Or okay, you commander players will have a legendary creature. Moving on. We've got Arcane Phoenix. Is it really called Arcane Phoenix? A lot of arcane stuff. How many phoenixes are there? Oh, maybe you meant Arclight. I think you meant Arclight Phoenix. If I would bet dollars to donuts, it was probably Arclight Phoenix. Red, 3 generic, 3/2 flying with haste, and at the beginning of your combat on your turn, if you cast 3 or more instant or sorcery spells, return Arclight Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield. Not just this Arclight Phoenix, all the Arclight Phoenixes. Basically, it's a combo. Just fill your graveyard with Arclight Phoenix, and it'll be back. Yeah, it definitely was Arclight Phoenix. Dark Master MTG with the Darigaz Reincarnate. Okay, we got the Jund colors, 4 generic. 7/7 flying trample haste. If it would die, instead exile it with 3 egg counters on it. What the hell does that mean? Turn back into eggs? We need to crack this guy open to get all the eggs from the golden goose. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Darigaz is exiled with an egg counter on it, remove an egg counter on it. Then if Darigaz has no egg counters on it, return it to the battlefield. I don't understand the flavor to this card. It doesn't make any sense to me. The egg counters? Is he getting... Oh, so he gets Oh, I get it. He gets reincarnated. So he literally is rehatching again. Got it. All right. So it was that. So he literally died, but he gets reincarnated. Yeah, for all you folks that love reincarnation. All right, we're gonna look at more cards that are like sort of indestructible but aren't. But we gotta thank our sponsor, FusionGamingOnline.com. Your one-stop shop for everything that is very hard to kill. If you need to get your, I don't know, your Darigaz incarnate, you better believe you can get them at FusionGamingOnline.com. In addition to like all the other special products that they have. And remember, when you're buying singles from FusionGamingOnline.com, don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu at checkout for 5% off all your purchases. And we're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. Get an unlimited number of effectively indestructible creatures. You want to play with Mist Hollow Griffin in the food chain deck. You want to play Arclight Phoenix in a blue-red Izzet Pioneer deck. Apparently just won the Canadian Championship. You can do that when you're renting with Mana Traders because you can rent whatever you want. And if the deck sucks, you send it right back and get a new one. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_1Y8. Yeah, to get 10% off your first 2 months. That's how you do it, people. All right, back to the wild cards. Okay, we have a million super. I gotta get through them super chats. They're paying for the show effectively. Next up, we got Redco. Thank you very much for your super chat. Skitherix. The Blight Dragon. What's a Blight? Black, 3 generic for a 4/4 flying with Infect. 4/4? Okay, Black Skitherix, the Blight Dragon gains haste until end of turn. You can regenerate him! I feel very sorry for anyone who... I mean, are you not the target if you, like, walk up to the table with a Skitherix, the Blight Dragon deck? I would imagine that makes you the target. It's like... I have my commander deck that is here to make me lose my friends. Get the Skitherix deck going. All right, next we've got Graham. Thank you very much for your super chat. Kerbis. Harvest Celebrant. Green. This is our first green creature, or pure green creature. Green X for a 0/0 tree folk. Enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it, each equal to the amount of mana spent to cast it. Remove a +1/+1 counter from Kerbis. Prevent all damage that would be dealt this turn to another target creature with a +1/+1 counter on it. So not itself. This actually does not really. This does not have Indestructible. Makes the other cards indestructible. I think we'll have one day. Maybe we'll have a show where like cards that protect your other cards. But it's not today. Lasagna! Destroyer, my ex. Not indestructible, slippery, hard to get rid of. Well, I can't look up your ex here. You know, we can all relate. We all have that sticky ex that keeps coming back. Sometimes we're that ex. King Ginger with the super chat. Thank you very much. The Hex Drinker. Hexproof, right? This is one of the greatest flops of Modern Horizons. A lot of people were super hyped over this card. It was going to be this, like, a staple of Modern. And now, ooh, it's not bad. It's still at $4, but people just thought, like, okay, this is just a staple now. It's a green 2/1 creature. You can get protection from instants. Protection from everything! I don't know, maybe someone's got to make, like, a Snake Tribal deck or something like that. Do you say Mother of Runes? That's a great one, Johnny. Man, nothing makes the board feel completely indestructible in Legacy than facing down a Mother of Runes. Opponent plays a white 1/1 creature, and then it's like, all right, well, that's it. I guess I can't kill anything. Or you need like multiple removal spells in order to get rid of this stupid mom. Sounds like it'd be good. I give up. Super chats will keep winning out. I'll look you up, Avatar. You know, I go back and forth. This is a little bit. It is a little pay to win. I might have to raise or bump up the super chat. Okay, Superman. You mean Morphling? There's no Superman, right? So you're actually talking about Morphling. We go back and forth. I'm here for the people, all right? I'm here for the people. You keep trying. Eventually, I'll get you. Hopefully. Blue, 3 generic for a 3/3. Shapeshifter. Pay a blue, untap Morphling. Pay a blue, it gets flying, but most importantly, you pay a blue, it gets Shroud until end of turn, so no one can target it. Not even yourself. And of course, you can buff it, and you can buff it up and increase it. You increase the fist, and then you can increase the butt for 1 generic mana. All right, back to them super chats. Uh-oh. Luciano Pesci. You're a noob to the super chats. I can tell because... Okay, so I gotta look for your card. Okay, here you are. Luciano, where is your... I'm looking. I'm digging. What happened here? You're supposed to suggest your card at the same time you give a super chat. I don't see it at all. Hey, sorry, Luciano. You're sort of lost in time, but I appreciate the super chat. I really appreciate it. John with Norin the Wary. This is how I started the show, but thank you very much, John. Got that red 2/1 creature. Play a spell. Any spell. Norn a little bit on the cautious side. This is more of a scaredy cat. But you know what? That's why Norn is alive and everyone else is dead. So who's laughing now? Sometimes it's good to be on the... There's a saying like... I'd rather be... instead of being like bravely dead, I'd rather be cowardly alive. That's the saying of Norn the Wary. Smelly Squid, thank you very much for the super chat. Regarding Grave Order, okay, most recent to enter goes on top, so kill your creature with sorcery. Sorcery resolve, then creature after dies by state-based effects. Ah, interesting. So the most recent to enter... So the old cards on the battlefield then go in first. Interesting. I learned something. And that's actually, I wouldn't say it's easy to remember, but it's simple to know. Oh my god, the super chats, people. Kevin Garcia, Everdawn champion. The champion is here. Champion of Everdawn, apparently. White, 1 generic for a 2/2 human soldier. Prevent all combat damage that be dealt to Everdawn champion. That'll do it. That'll do it. Why does it prevent all damage? What's the lore here? Prevent all combat damage that be dealt to Everdawn. I guess she's a champion. Untouched. We'll go 10 rounds in a boxing match without losing a single point. Come out of it like Mayweather. Okay, we'll take one random one from you guys. David, Hour of Devastation Gods. Well, that's not very specific, David. Oh, we did 2 of them already. Stew Flames, another way of doing Norin. Colon? Oh, you mean nothing? Okay, Clergy. Let's look at Clergy. This Clergy? Prevent 1 damage to any creature or player? Okay, you can prevent you can prevent 1 damage to him. But I guess he's going... I still think this thing can die, but it looks like he's gonna die happy. What's going on over here? What is going on over here? Did anyone question the art design of this thing? I mean, and also, like, Wizards could have just cropped this out. They could have just, like, you know, zoomed in on this guy's head. Instead, they zoomed out enough so we see the other guy's head. Anyway, moving on. Okay, I gotta get through them super chats. There's so many of them. We did the Everdawn. We didn't do Throne the Last Troll, though. Thank you very much. King Ginger. We got Thrun, green, 2 generic for a 4/4. Troll Shaman. Thrun the Last Troll can't be countered. It's interesting, a lot of these cards hard to deal with. They all have, a lot of them can't be countered. Thrun can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control. And you can regenerate Thrun! This used to be a staple in Modern for a reason. Basically indestructible. I guess this was a common way of making someone really hard to kill, and then they're like, oh, you know what, screw it, let's just make everything indestructible. Yo, little Ted! Asarak the Arch. Asurrak. Is it Asurrak? Asurrak? The Arc Leech? Can't pronounce this guy's name. Black 2 generic 5/5/5. Why doesn't this guy see more play? Enters the battlefield. If you haven't completed Tomb of Annihilation, return Asurrak the Arc Lich to its owner's hand and venture into the dungeon. Oh, I see. You cast the card, but you sort of don't cast the card. Whenever Asarak the Arc Leech attacks, for each opponent, you create a 2/2 black zombie creature token unless that player sacrifices a zombie creature. It's indestructible because it's barely in play. This like doesn't even exist on the battlefield half the time. Steve Cooper, oh, this is insane. Thank you very much for the super chat. You only get 1 card. You can't cheat here. Maybe, okay, I'll give you 2. I give you 2. Okay, we didn't look at True Name Nemesis, and we'll look at Iridescent. Okay, we'll look at Perplexing Chimera, I guess. I give you 2. $22 super chat's gotta be worth 2. This is one of my favorite cards because it's a merfolk, and it's basically a mini Progenitus. Blue 1 generic for a 3/1. Enters the battlefield. Choose a player, and True Name Nemesis has protection from that player. Still good. A lot of people think that. I mean, this card fell so much out of favor in Legacy. Used to be in like every single deck possible, even in Delver decks, and now like it's played in like some Stoneblade decks and still played by the Merfolk players. Okay, we got Perplexing Chimera. Perplexing. This, I haven't seen this guy in a long time. Blue 4 generic for a 3/3. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may exchange control of Perplexing Chimera, and that spell, if you do, you may choose new targets for the spell. So this is like a card nobody's gonna let die, effectively, because you're gonna want to use this as a resource to take control of somebody else's spell. What a funny card. That is a card that is basically gonna be indestructible. It's like a hot potato. It's like a potato. I don't know how to explain this. It's like has anyone played any of these Secret Santa games where you open a Santa gift, but then you get to exchange it for somebody else's gift? Well, that's what the Perplexing Chimera is. You keep exchanging it for someone's better stuff. All right, next super chat. We've got Dylan. Thank you very much, Dylan. We're gonna give you. Oh, where are you going? Hopefully this is good enough. Phylactery Lich. Black for a 5/5 zombie. It's literally indestructible, though. The show says cards that aren't indestructible. This guy says indestructible is the first word on his card. Okay, technically indestructible, but in a weird way. All right, I'll read on. As Phylactery Lich enters the battlefield, put a Phylactery counter on an artifact you control. When you control no permanents with Phylactery counters on them, sacrifice Phylactery Lich. That is weird. Still indestructible. Disqualified, but thank you very much for the super chat. Okay, let's get some freebie in we're gonna go to the Proto Gamer. Sensei's Divining to oh yeah. I think this is one of the first you notice that I didn't say creatures. I said cards. It could be anything. This is the first, I think this is the first non-creature card of today. We got a generic artifact. Pay 1, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put them back in any order. But at any moment, at any time, you can tap, draw a card, then put Sensei's Divining Top on top of its owner's library. I guess you have this one turn window of trying to get that thing in. It's like tap, put it on top of my library. No, we're gonna braid it in response. You got it. But otherwise, you're gonna hold it up. Hold it up! Then we're gonna die. Steve paying Nikachu's dinner and lunch now. Oh, yes. Absolutely. And getting chubby meatball treats. Alright, next up we got Redco. Thank you very much, Redco. Lizelle. Did we do this one? I think we did this one. You want the arena card. So is it even worse on arena? Hold on, wait. Did we do? I think I did. No, you want... Which one do you want here? Okay, you want the arena card. Yeah, we did this one. That's okay. White 3 generic 2/4 with double strike. And when you cast this spell, it gains whenever a creature becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls. You can exile this creature, then return onto the battlefield under its owner's control. Hold on, why would it do that? Whenever you cast a spell, it gains... When this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may exile this creature, then return to the battlefield under its owner's control. That's weird. What a weird ability. So I have to cast a spell to make it gain this ability, but can I even do that in response? I didn't read that closely the first time. All right, we got Anthony. Hack on. Hack on, hack off. With Stromgald Scourge. Black 1 generic for a 3/3 zombie knight. You can cast Hack on Stromgald Scourge from the graveyard, but not from anywhere else. All right, so you got it. As long as Hack on is on the battlefield, I like it. As long as Hack on is on the battlefield, you may cast night spells from your graveyard. Oh, that's insane. And whenever Hack on dies, you'll lose 2 life. Well, I don't like the losing 2 life bar, but the playing the other knight sounds pretty appealing. The zombie rises up to show everyone what's what. Christopher says, "Yo, little Ted, you gotta be kidding me. What did Yo, little Ted say? I missed it." Okay, we got Kevin with Elixir of Immortality. Nothing says immortal like the Elixir of Immortality. 1 mana, pay 2. Tap, gain 5 life. Shuffle Elixir of Immortality and your graveyard into its owner's library. Into their owner's library. Does anyone still use this card? It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Bios with Emrakul. There's only one way to get rid of an Emrakul, and that is to ban it from the entire format. The 15/15 can't be countered, and also protection from colored spells, which effectively means from basically 99% of the game. Flying protection from, and has flying. And if it ever if it ever hits the graveyard by any means, you shuffle it back into your library, and it will be back. It will be back, people. Elspeth Sun's Nemesis from Christopher B. Elspeth Sun's. Oh yes, the white 2 generic 5 loyalty planeswalker that keeps coming back. Okay, -1 up to 2 target creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. You go -2, you gain 2. Sorry, create 2 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens. You go -3. There are no +1s on this card. Elspeth's meant to go straight to the graveyard. But it's got escape for a white 4 generic. Exile 4 other cards from your graveyard, and you bring it right back to the battlefield. Hakon is your new commander. Well, welcome. You're gonna love it. All right, we got more super chats to get through. Steve Cooper. No, they're great. I'll give you 2 sound effects. These are non-super chat suggestions, so help it not be pay to win. These are. Oh, okay. Okay, so the next 2 are on Steve Cooper. All right, so let's do Sergio's Cauldron Familiar. The next 2 are on Steve Cooper. Okay, black 1/1, cat. When Cauldron Familiar enters the battlefield, each opponent loses life and you gain a life. And if you sack a food, you can return Cauldron Familiar from your graveyard to the battlefield. Anyone heard of the cat oven combo? Combine this with the oven. What is it? Witch's oven? Which is even? Which is... Do I really have to put the apostrophe? No, I don't. Okay, the 1 generic mana. You sack a creature, you sack your cat. I don't even like the sound of that. Sack the cat to the oven. And you create a food. And then you can use the food to get the cat back. And you repeat this process over and over again. What a combo. All right. Second chat on Station Disastrous. Steve Cooper was on. It was for you. From Steve Cooper. Okay, Vengevine. Oh, God. Still vintage playable Vengevine, right? So green 2 generic for a 4/3 elemental with haste. Just dump that into your graveyard via, what's it called? Don't remember what it's called. Bazaar Baghdad, that's right. Whenever you cast a spell, if it's the second creature spell you cast this turn, you can return the Vengevine from your graveyard to the battlefield. Also was a great Hogak special. I was more fearful of this than Hogak, in my opinion. You know, hasty Vengevines, I don't like that. Slow 8/8 trampling Hogak, I was okay with. I can deal with it. I'm fine. Has the current Dave Vengevine deck been banned yet? It's actually super legal. Look, it's not banned anywhere. Broken card when it's broken, but usually they just ban something else. They ban the enablers. Except in can't remember. In Modern Legacy, we ban enablers. In Pauper, they ban the problem cards. All the enablers get to remain. Oh my goodness, the super chats. All right, Anthony. Thank you very much for your super chat. Oh, hack on again? Is there another hack on, by the way? Stromgold Scourge? Or did I do this one already? I don't think I did this one. Yeah, I did this one. We'll look at it again. It's on the battlefield. You can cast night spells from your graveyard. What kind of night spells can we cast? And then what it means is all the knights for the rest of the game are basically indestructible. To send them knights to their death, they can come back as zombie creatures. Redco, thank you very much for your super chat. Slimefoot and Squee. Does it come back? Okay, we got for the Jund colors, a 3/3 fungus goblin. When Slimefoot and Squee enters the battlefield or attacks, create a 1/1 green sapling creature token, and for 4 mana, sacrifice that sapling, return Slimefoot and Squee, and up to 1 other target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That thing's wild. It's only 3 mana. It's 3 mana for basically 4 power. Looks good. in my opinion. Mario! Mirror Mad Phantasm. Oh, I thought it was going to be... Oh, yeah, it's a phantom. Phantasm means spirit and ghost. All right, blue, 3 generic for a 5/1 spirit. Flying. Blue 1 generic. Mirror Mad Phantasm's owner shuffles it into his or her library. If that player does, he or she reveals cards on the top of their library until a card named Mirror Mad Phantasm is revealed. The player puts that card onto the battlefield and all other cards revealed this way into his or her graveyard. I don't understand the point of this thing, so... You put it back in your deck. Oh, and you put all the other cards into the graveyard. This could be insane. If you need to dump your entire deck into your graveyard at random, this is the card to do it. Wow, I had no idea something like this even existed. That's wild. Argentina with Hammer of Bogarden. Can you even destroy this thing? Does he even have a chance? It's our first sorcery on the list. Okay, we have a red 1 generic. Deals 3 damage to target creature or player. You can pay 5 mana. Return Hammer of Bogarden from your graveyard to your hand. Plays ability only during your upkeep. Oh, you got 5 mana to do nothing with? Go for it. You got Hammer of Bogarden. Half Fizz with the Nether Spirit. I want to see the OG Nether Spirit. I saw this so many times. There was like a really bad control deck at the time playing Nether Spirit. Back in the standard days. We have black 1 generic 2/2 creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Nether Spirit is the only creature card in your graveyard, you have 1 creature in your entire graveyard, and it's Nether Spirit, you may return Nether Spirit to play. What a pile of junk. But yeah, it's hard to get rid of. Well, I mean, the problem is... Okay, the problem is you're not allowed to play any other creatures in your deck. It's terrible. This is beyond terrible. Alright, what do we got next? King Ginger, thank you very much for the Zergo. The Zergo count? Probably not. I've disqualified 2 of your cards today. Zergo Helm Smasher. Okay, we got Mardu and 2 generic for a 7/2 with haste. Attacks each combat if able. Has indestructible as long as it's your turn. Literally has indestructible. I don't know what to say, people. If it says indestructible, then it's indestructible. The whole point of the show is to look at cards that aren't actually indestructible. It's got some weird workaround. Not a workaround to get indestructible. Alright, but anyway, we're moving on to Jacob with Plague Reaver. What's the Plague Reaver all about? Black 2 generic for a 6/5 beast. Okay, what's the catch here? It's a 6/5 for 3 mana. That's beyond mind-blowingly stupid. At the beginning of your end step, sack each other creature you control. Discard 2 cards, sacrifice Plague Reaver, choose target opponent, return Plague Reaver to the battlefield under that player's control at the beginning of their next end step. What a weird card. Okay, so yeah, it does come back, but like, it's a means of blowing up all your opponent's stuff. At the beginning of your end, so effectively, you want to get it into the graveyard, discard 2 cards, give it to somebody else, and then it's their problem. You nuke their board. Just have to deal with a 6/5 for all day. David, Drown Yard Temple, land for once. Oh yeah, Drown Yard. Okay, we got a land. Get this ability. It taps. It adds colorless mana. You can use that to cast instants, sorceries, artifacts, creatures, planeswalker spells, among other things, and activate abilities. But here's the real kick. If I didn't sell you on that, here's the real kicker. Pay 3 mana, return Drown Yard Temple from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Yeah, for those pesky people who are playing Wasteland. Thought you could Wasteland this? No, it's gonna come back. There's a point to this? I guess there might be some decks that want to sack lands to activate an ability, so you can use this and it doesn't come back immediately, but you know, it'll come back eventually. That's fine. I think Erland was trying really hard to get this Iridescent Angel on here. What does this do? 7 mana for a 4/4 Angel, flying, protection from all colors. Alright. Sold. Sold to the Angel. Is there an actual card called Landfall? Oh, well, there is. But not how I thought. What the hell? Oh, it's a landfall token. Oh, anyway, moving on. Redco with Geist of Saint Traft. One of my best picks for most underrated cards in the game right now. Blue, white, 1 generic for a 2/2 with hexproof. Attacks, crit a 4/4. White angel creature token with flying. That's tapped and attacking. Exile that token at end of combat. More people should be playing this. I think this card in Legacy and Modern. Of course, blocking it is like the best strategy, but it's still really hard to remove. Blacklands Geo, thank you very much for your super chat. We got Grafted Butcher. Grafted Butcher, black 1 generic for a 2/2 Phyrexian Samurai. Enters the battlefield. Phyrexians you control gain menace until end of turn. Other Phyrexians you control get +1/+1. Pay a black 3 generic. Sacrifice another artifact or creature. Return Grafted Butcher from the graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Yep. Just these things just don't stay down. Phyrexian Cooper. Oh, sorry, not Phyrexian Cooper. Steve Cooper. The $20 was from freebie suggestions. I'd appreciate if they were read. The $20 was from freebie suggestions. I'd appreciate if they were read off. All right, let's go look at let's look at 5 freebies. How many freebies can we get? Okay, let's get something from Toads. End the turn early to keep the angel. Well, it's not a card suggestion. Okay, we have Good Freak with Shimmering Efreet. It's 1 of 5 from Steve Cooper. Blue 2 generic. Phasing. When Shimmering Efreet phases in, target creature phases out, which could include itself. So basically, it's just never on the battlefield. Jacob Thune with Slicer. I got a lot of your cards from you for today. Slicer, Hired, Muscle. The hell is this? This is an actual Magic. This looks like a custom Magic the Gathering card. Red 4 generic, 3/4 robot. More than meets the eye for a red and 2 generic. You may cast this card converted for a red 2 generic. Okay, sure. Double strike haste. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may have that player gain control of Slicer until end of turn. If you do, untap Slicer, goad it, and it can't be sacrificed this turn. If you don't, convert it. So we're going to convert it into a high-speed antagonist. Living Metal. First strike haste. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, convert it at end of combat. I don't understand. How is this not indestructible? At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may have that player gain control of Slicer until end of turn. If you do, untap it, goad it, and can't be sacked this turn. I don't think it counts, to be honest. People in the comments section can fight me for that. It's real? Yeah, it's a real card. Okay, we'll look at... Okay, so second one on Steve Cooper. Zick, we got Tenacious Underdog. We got for a black 1 generic, a 3/2 human warrior with Blitz. You have to pay 4 mana and 2 life. That's quite high. You may... so if you cast a card for the Blitz cost, it has haste. And when this creature dies, draw a card. Sack it at the beginning of the next end. What? Why do I have to do that? Okay, and you can cast Tenacious Underdog from your graveyard using its Blitz ability. Okay, I have a lot. Whoa, we're not done yet. We're not done. Here, panic mode. Where's the music? There we go. I have a lot. I still have millions of super chats to get through. Okay, yeah. So you can play its Blitz cost for eternity. All right, next we'll do Seki from Christopher B. That's the third one. Seasons Guide. Triple green, 5 generic for a 0/0. Comes into play with 8 +1/+1 counters on it. If damage would be dealt to Seki, prevent it. Remove those counters. You make that many 1/1 colorless spirit creature tokens. Then you can sack 8 spirits. Return Seki from your graveyard to play. So basically, effectively, you dealt damage to the Seki. You get the 8 tokens. Then you can use the 8 tokens to bring the Seki back to life. It never going down. I'm never going down, you hear me? Okay, so that was that the I think that was the third. Now we're going to the fourth of our charitable Steve Cooper super chat. We'll look at Zach. Cho Mano. Revolutionary and Outrider Encore. You only got one. We want the Revolutionary, because there's 2 of them. Alright, Chomano. White, 2 generic for a 2/2. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to Chomano Revolutionary. That's a lot of damage. Can soak up a lot of damage here. Mercadia's mask can no longer hide the truth. Our day has come at last. What makes this person take, like, infinite damage? Or prevent all that damage? So basically, you can block an Emrakul if you can. Alright, next up, what we got here? Okay, and then we got the 5th one. From Maddie. Okay, Karn the Betrayer. It's funny, we have to live in a world where Steve Cooper has to, is it Can or Karn? Nope. Oh, I'll look up the Betrayer. Oh, I'm not even spelling Betrayer right. Okay. Karn! Cairn! No, it's both of them. Cairn! The hell is this thing? Okay, we got a red 3 generic 5/1 with Berserker. Cairn the Betrayer attacks or blocks each combat if able. Sigil of Corruption. When you lose control of Karn the Betrayer, draw 2 cards. And the Betrayer, the ability. If damage would be dealt to Cairn the Betrayer, prevent that damage and an opponent of your choice gains control of it. Holy crap. That card's great. And is basically indestructible. Zach says, Outrider Encore has 0 ability that lets you redirect damage off of it to another permanent. If you have it and Chomano, neither take damage. Oh, that's sick. Oh, I see. So you redirect all the damage to the Chomano. That's a combo. Today's not a combo day. Okay, we have one more super chat. Sigarda. What is it? Which one? Host of Herons? Flying Hexproof, which is good enough, and spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause you to sacrifice permanents. That's right. Basically, anti-Emrakul tech right there. Anti-Emrakul. Okay, let's end it all off on... Does Nexus of Fate count? Yes, let's end it on a Nexus of Fate. What a beautiful card. Blue, 5 generic. For a take an extra turn after this one card. And if Nexus of Fate would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, reveal it, put it back into the library, be found and played all over again for eternity. Alright, that's it for the day. Oh, wow, what a show. People love your indestructible cards that aren't indestructible. Oh, there's like millions that we didn't even get through, so maybe we could... I don't know if we could do the show again, but we'll do something similar to this effect. But as usual, my coffee crew, if you want to be here to be part of the show, be here Monday to Friday, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Thank you so much for your support. For the people who super chat to be part of the show, and also a huge shout out to Steve Cooper out there, looking out for the people who are, you know, playing free to play out here in the for Coffee and MTG, and also everyone who is a subscriber on YouTube and a patron on Patreon. And most importantly, we gotta thank the people who show up here every single day, like Zick, Redco, Erland, we got Mr. Deadhead, Good Freak, Christopher B, Rotboy, King Ginger, we got Nicholas, Mario Argentina, Sir, Brandon Hall, Norman. We got Anna, Nicholas, Jesse, Restian Serpentine. Because without all of you folks, I'd have no show. So, as usual, my coffee crew. Where's my coffee? Here's my coffee. Keep bringing up them coffees, my coffee crew. And we'll keep bringing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you